Here's the beginning of the trip. The old Ingraham Highway trail. It's made out of coral that's been dug up. And it goes back 9.9 miles. Then you turn around and ride back. This was completed, this road, in the early 1920s, but it's been closed and now it's available for biking. This is the Everglades, the lower section. We're on the old Ingraham Road, old Ingraham Highway. It's about a 20-mile bike ride. For millions of years, Florida was covered by an ocean, and it had a lot of reefs that built up and laid down limestone. This limestone became compressed, and so most of Florida has this very shallow soil with a large amount of limestone. To make this road, they've actually taken some of the limestone on one side of the road and piled it up to make the road. So you have a canal that follows these roads. Oh, and here's one of those inhabitants of that canal. Here's a nice, maybe 8-foot alligator just off the side of the road, right on the edge of the canal, which is right through those weeds. They came in here with a big barge and would dig up that area on the right, the limestone, and blast it and dump it here to make the road, which is very straight. So I'd like to show you the most dangerous creature that takes more lives throughout the world that's found in the Everglades. And guess what? That's not it. But today, the day is kind of cool and breezy, so there are not many mosquitoes. Alligators tend to be fairly shy and non-aggressive. This one here is just laying around, probably helping to digest its food from last night. Alligators, we call them cold-blooded, but they're what called homeotherms. Sure, their blood is cold if they're in a cold environment. If they're in a warm environment, it will be the same temperature. In order to regulate their temperature, alligators will go in and out of water and lay out in the sun. Look on their backs. You can see these small little ridges called scutes. Those scutes have a lot of capillaries, little blood vessels, and those blood vessels are exposed to the air, so when they want to heat up, their black color will help absorb sunlight, heat up those capillaries, and in turn warm them up. That's why we often see alligators on the sides of roads, like right here, where it is right next to the trail that I'm riding on. Here's the road I've been riding through. That little narrow area was thick with mud. Unfortunately, I couldn't film and ride through it at the same time. But the Everglades, in general, is a slow-moving stream of water. It might move 3 miles an hour. It heads towards the ocean at the bottom of Florida. Interspersed among this slow-moving, swampy river are what are called hammocks. You can see one here. You can see the cypress trees in front. They look like kind of Charlie Brown Christmas trees. And way in back there's a hardwood forest. It's in those hardwood forests where a lot of the wildlife can be found, where deer, bear, Florida panthers, which are just another type of mountain lion. In fact, they're probably identical to our western mountain lions, except they've been isolated here in Florida. And that's where these are found. Most of Florida, though, as you go through the Everglades, the biggest things, the most common things you see are many birds and, of course, alligators. When you're riding on the trail here, you have to be careful. You don't want to accidentally run over an alligator while you're looking in the distance. There are many small little alligators that scurry out of the way. I don't want to run over a snake, unless maybe it's a python that they're trying to get rid of. So you've got to go with your eyes wide open. Even the foliage can be dangerous. There's a very common tree here called poisonwood. If it brushes against you, or if even water drips off it and gets onto you, it'll give you an allergic reaction like poison ivy. In fact, the toxic compound, the allergic compound, is the same as found in poison ivy. And poisonwood is a member of the cashew family. So when we ride here through the Everglades, you can't spend too much time looking through your viewfinder. You've got to keep your eyes on the road and in the distance. I thought I'd introduce you to my bike I'm riding on. It's a very inexpensive bike. It's called a Mongoose. Probably someone got it. I bought it from them. They may have gotten it from Walmart. If you can see, I bring my own gator along. This is in case I come across gators in the swamp, it gets rid of them. I just grab the nose and go, and that's my gator repellent. As I ride on this road, you often hear splashes, kerplops, squawks, grunts, croaks, all sorts of sounds. Kind of a little creepy. You see a lot of birds. Here's one bird. Fortunately, as you can see, this bird met something that ate it. Left nothing but feathers. To me, this looks like it might have been a crow that was a little too slow. Here's some thick brush here with ferns on the side, a little bit of mud. It almost never truly dries out here. Hope as I'm showing you this, I don't run across an alligator or drive over, because if you drive over an alligator, it's like running over a big piece of luggage, except that it bites. Nice long alligator on the side of the road where the canal is. You can see his scoots right there. They project out of his back. Those little pointy things go down his tail. That's how he warms up or cools down. Got a nice bug bite. See you later, alligator. I just came out of a pretty swampy area and noticed that I'm probably kind of on the edge of a hardwood hammock. There's some big cypress trees. A little swampy pond here. Who knows what's out there? The most dangerous thing that kills more people in the world than any other animal. Mosquitoes. Yeah. Here's a better open area of the ditch on the side of the road. A lot of lily pads there. And we're still going straight. A little swampy area with some cypress. Well, I've had a goal to get as far into the Everglades as someone could get. The deepest you can get isn't by airboat, and it's not by swamp buggy, because those are prohibited in Everglades National Park. How to get the deepest into the Everglades is to take a bike or a hike on the old Ingraham Road. I've now reached the end of that road, which is 10 miles deep into the Everglades, surrounded by the swamp, alligators, and a lot of real pretty birds. Have you ever wondered what alligator poop looks like? That's what it looks like. What was that sound? Little mud here. Hang on. Up in the trees here, a little tricolored heron. He'll probably take off as we get closer. This is probably the most typical view of the Everglades. You can see the little hardwood hammocks in the background, occasional cypress, it's little white trees. There's little cypress, and all the sawgrass. Look closely here. You see some kind of orangish mats. These are mats of algae. It seemed like it'd be nice to get rid of these, but these are important to the life in the Everglades. When these swamp areas get dry, the algae gets smushed down, but it has a lot of loft to it, and it stays on top of eggs that are buried underneath and keeps them from drying out. So just this lowly algae is an important part of the Everglades ecosystem. Well, it's been 20 miles and almost exactly 4 hours. 3 hours of it has been pedaling, about an hour taking photos, and we're back at the beginning. We're back at the beginning of the Ingraham Highway. It cuts through the Everglades. Gets you about as far into the Everglades as you can get, unless you're willing to hike in 10 miles through swamps.